Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. We all know. Look behind me. Forget the Baby Yoda sweat top that I still need to hang. Those are clothes that I need to hang, by the way. But it's no secret. I am a retro gamer at heart. I've been playing video games my whole life. One of the most classic franchises I ever enjoyed playing was Killer Instinct. It was in the middle of the 16-bit console wars. It was in the middle of video games, the fighting game genre just being at its peak with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and Killer Instinct and all these other fighting game titles just killing it in the arcades. And, I played it. And then Killer Instinct Gold came out, and Killer Instinct 2, and it kind of just disappeared for quite a bit until it resurfaced later on Xbox One with Killer Instinct, which was like a modern Killer Instinct. And then it's kind of been dead. Kind of been out. And every once in a while I'm like, oh man, this would be so awesome if Killer Instinct was to return sometime. In my opinion, it's definitely underrated, underappreciated. At the time, it had the combo system when it first came out in the 90s. And it had a lot of different mechanics that both Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat didn't have. But it did take a little bit from both, let's be honest. But for the most part, I think they stood their own ground as far as being a fighting game in the arcade. And it's just kind of vanished ever since Microsoft kind of bought it, with their acquisition of Rare. And often at times I live stream and I hear people say, Microsoft needs to take advantage of all of its IPs, and they are not wrong on that. There should be a new Killer Instinct like almost as many times as there is a new Mortal Kombat or a new Street Fighter. They should be popping these Killer Instincts out. Why not? Come on. Well, speaking of Killer Instinct and all that, before we get to this article, if you are not subscribed to the channel, click it. Combo breaker that red subscription button down below. Let's go ahead and read this article. So Xbox Series X, rumor teases possible return of classic series. I am intrigued. So I saw this and I was like, all right, I have the Xbox Series X. I'm a big fan of the games that I'm playing on it right now. But if I can get a classic series, I'm going to do it. We just saw just recently the whole Xbox Live arcade leak of GoldenEye that was also just recently shut down because of Nintendo. We will talk about that later. But we just saw that. So now my craving for games like Killer Instinct, like Battletoads, like, Snake Rattle and Roll is at an all-time high right now. So we're going to read this. It says a new rumor has teased the possible return of a classic series on Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. Unlike PlayStation and Nintendo, Xbox doesn't have an abundance of incredible IP, and they don't, which is why they need to take advantage of what they have. Now, it has Halo, Gears of War, Forza, Fable, and a few other heavy hitters, but it's not enough to keep pace with its biggest competitors. And you honestly are not wrong. We got Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, F-Zero, Metroid on one hand. On the other hand, we have, God of War, Parappa the Rappa. No, I'm just joking. But all the big PlayStation hits like Uncharted, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West is coming out. We got all sorts of huge exclusives for the PS5, and the Switch has its own as well. Albeit they are pretty drip feedy right now with the Switch stuff. But it's always been the consensus that Xbox just doesn't have the exclusives. Now it says once its acquisition of ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda, goes through and it adds Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom, Wolfenstein, and more to its arsenal of IP, it may even things up. But until then, and for its entire existence in the game space, Xbox has an IP problem. And that's always been the general consensus when it comes to Xbox. It says, that said, there's IP it's been sitting on that does have value. Last year it announced revivals for two of the biggest examples of this, Fable and Perfect Dark. There's still more IP Microsoft could get something out of, though. For example, Killer Instinct. Will Killer Instinct ever be as big as Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat? Probably not, but I do think it's comparable. But it's an IP with a lot of potential that Microsoft tried to revive on the Xbox One, but after this unsuccessful attempt, it hasn't touched the series. However, this is apparently not due to a lack of desire. Now, I personally enjoyed the Xbox One Killer Instinct. It's on Game Pass, by the way, I'm pretty sure. So during a recent episode of Xbox 2, Xbox insider Jez Corden revealed that he's heard that Microsoft wants to do a new Killer Instinct, but hasn't found the right partner to develop the game. That's interesting. I can't even think of some companies that could do it. Maybe WB? Fuck it. Have Mortal Kombat X Killer Instinct happen. So it says, I know Microsoft wants to do Killer Instinct, said Corden. But it's not like they didn't want there to be a sequel. It's just that they had nobody to make them. At least that's what I was told. As noted earlier, Microsoft tried to bring Killer Instinct back from the grave in 2013 on Xbox One. However, not only did the revival fail to light the world on fire, but its developer Double Helix Games was acquired by Amazon not long after. When this happened, Iron Galaxy Studios came into the picture to develop the game's second and third seasons. That said, while Iron Galaxy Studios is a fine studio, it's not quite an industry leader or a premier team, which could explain why they weren't tapped for a sequel. And that makes sense, you know. You want something as big as Killer Instinct to be developed good. Me personally, I thought it was an enjoyable game. They don't, I guess, trust them to make a sequel. Who made Battletoads? I don't even know who made the Battletoads game, the newest one. I can't think of anybody. I mean, maybe they'll get somebody from the ZeniMax family to make the new Killer Instinct. Who knows? I do hope that there's a huge grain of truth to this rumor, though, because I would more than welcome a brand new Killer Instinct. I know a lot of you guys who are retro gaming fanatics like myself would definitely like that as well. I'm a big fan of what they've been doing with the Mortal Kombat series as of late. Mortal Kombat 11 was a lot of fun. Mortal Kombat X was pretty neat. I think they've rejuvenated that series as a whole. And then, you know, Street Fighter has always been pretty good. I just feel that Killer Instinct is one of those games that's just been kind of like forgotten about. It just floated into obscurity once Microsoft purchased, you know, the rights to it. And I feel they are definitely sleeping on it. So hopefully, if this rumor is true, again, take it with a grain of salt. Nothing has been confirmed. The source that's given this, you know, while they have been a reliable insider in the past, nothing has been 100% clear. So who knows? I personally would like to see this happen. I want to see a brand new Killer Instinct game. And I want it now. I want to play it. I want to play Killer Instinct. So yeah, guys. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on Killer Instinct and a possible new game coming out. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching and supporting the channel.